Hey guys, what's up? Andrew Mitchell here. I'm walking right now, a little warm up in Massillon, Ohio. It's 30, 34, 37 degrees out right now. But the good thing that I have in my favor right now is that the sun is shining, there's a blue sky out, and there's no wind. So it doesn't feel so bad. You know, I pray to God, man, if the winter was like this all the time, like in Ohio, Midwest, that it was cold, but there's still sunshine and blue skies, it would not be nearly as bad. But anyway, that being said, I am in a new stage, new phase of my life, a rebirth, if you will, a renaissance, a rebuilding. This has been, if not the most challenging, I would just say it's the most challenging year of my life. When my baby boy was in the hospital, that was the most challenging time of my life, but this has been the most challenging year of my life on so many levels. And I've had a lot of good things happen, but anyway, I won't get into all that right now, but like, I'm starting a new YouTube channel, and it's going to be about being your best self. It's going to be about transforming your life. And it starts on the inside, your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and your body, because you got to have a strong body as well. I've gone through so much this year that I have to have a rebirth. I have to have a rebuilding, because if not, I was broken. And the thing about being broken is you got to pick yourself up, and you get to the point after the sleepless nights and the nightmares and the anxiety and panic attacks that, like, you realize that everyone deals with mental health. Everyone deals with mental health issues differently. And I'll tell you what, iron sharpens iron. I thank God for the people that he put in my life that have been able to empower me, guide me, instruct me, inspire, uplift, and encourage me, because I don't know how I would have made it without them. And God will work through people. Ask, believe, and receive. God works through people all the time. I also ask him to speak to me and through me. If I can offer wisdom, knowledge, guidance to others. And I'm going to pause here right now just because, one, it's a beautiful view. This is where Bubby and I come all the time. The pictures you may have seen recently, and we do some laps. But like, this is where I reflect. I come here on mornings that I may not have a raya. I might come here 5 or 6 in the morning by myself. I'll literally bring my Bible and another book or two I'm reading. And I literally bring like a book lamp. And I'll sit out here on this exact bench right here in front of this little pond, and I'll read. And, true transparency, guys, because you can't grow if you're not honest. And I've held so much back my entire life, and I've hid in my shell of insecurities. When I mean my shell of insecurities is my body. At my biggest, I was 240 pounds, and I still felt small, probably because I had so many insecurities they could not all fit in that body. I'm at the point in my life where, like, when you lose what's most important to your family, your wife, you're forced to look within, because you can blame other people, and sometimes other people are at fault, but you have to look in the mirror. He said, what could I have done differently? What did I do that pushed him to this? And taking ownership and accountability is the first step to transformation. And all that being said, and I know I'm saying a lot here, and it might sound like I'm rambling, but this all has a point and a purpose, and this will be the first video in my new YouTube channel. Bodybuilding is a great sport. Bodybuilding has done so much for me, but I also feel like it's done so much to me. And like, the way I grew up, you know, my mom died when I was young. My dad, you know, my dad did the best that he knew how to do with what he knew at that moment. You know, Vietnam vet, PTSD. He struggled with a lot of anger issues, and he took it out on his family a lot growing up. And I've since made up with my dad, you know, and he's a great grandfather to my son. And he's been there for me and Ashley many times as well. But growing up, when you needed parents the most, a lot of us didn't have them. And we didn't have them the way that we needed them. And so here we are, we're adults, and we grow up lacking some essential characteristics, behavior traits. And when you get in a relationship, you get two broken people trying to be whole together. And ultimately and ideally, it would be two whole people coming together, and now you're just like, wow, now you're complete. And it's like, but the thing is, majority of the time you got two broken people. And guys, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this year, like, done with the BS. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be me, because I want to change people's lives. I've let my wife down so many times. And early on in our relationship, I spoke to other women. You know, I was a player my whole life. I had my heart broken in college, 21, 22 years old. And I just stopped trusting women. And I treated women as sexual objects. I had sex with them, and I used them and threw them away like a dirty diaper. And, excuse me. Fast forward years later, you know, like, just because I found a woman that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, it doesn't mean it like literally transformed me into this great man. I had to learn things the hard way, and almost lost her multiple times. And my behavior, my actions, and the way I treated her pushed her away. You know, guys, life and death is in the power of the tongue. We can use our words to build people up or destroy them and destruct them. And mistakes I made, you know, I've asked for forgiveness. I've forgiven myself. God has forgiven me. Whether she has forgiven me or when she does, it's up to her. That's between her and God. But like, no, what I did doesn't give her the right to do what she did, but it also makes me not play the blame game. Like, I looked in the mirror and said, hey, what did I do wrong? Like, what did you do right? Because you always got to celebrate your wins. You have to take notes of what you did right, but you also have to be like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong, or what did I not do when I should have done this? And I've failed in so many areas. My sole job as a husband and father is to protect and provide for my family. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. And I succeeded in all those areas at various times, but I also failed in all those areas at various times. And the thing about hitting rock bottom is, like, one, there's the only way to go is up. But two, like, it forces you to stop making excuses and be like, dude, why am I here? When you can look at yourself and admit, like, I'm here because of me, my actions. No, we can't control the actions of other people. We can't make other people love you, like you, whatever, but we can influence it a lot. So, like, this transformation, I realize bodybuilding has done so many great things for me. It's helped instill a lot of confidence in me and belief, self-belief. And I met so many amazing people in the fitness industry, whether they're clients or friends or coaches and trainers and mentors. But, like, I think it's come to an end in the sense of me competing on stage, because what it did for me is it fulfilled a gap that I had from not getting the attention that I sought after when I was a child. And I have a family. I don't need attention from anyone anymore. I just need my family. I just want the attention of my family. I don't need hundreds or thousands of people clapping for me, cheering for me, telling me how great I am, because I do everything in my power to be the best husband and best father that I can be. I know how great I am, and I give all glory to God. You know, I can't do anything without him. I can do all things through him, and that's something that I've learned. I learned this year, but I really learned in the last few months and even last few weeks, as I hit rock bottom. I hit hard. I've been really leaning on God. I've been praying with myself, been praying with other people. I've been reading the Bible. I've been reading a couple other books. I've been spending a lot of time with my son. I've been spending a lot of time out in nature. Health and fitness is more than just how you look naked, you know. Health and fitness is multidimensional. It's your mental health. It's your emotional health. It's your physical health and well-being. You know, it's your financial health. And, you know, do you feel safe and secure financially? You know, do you feel safe and secure mentally, emotionally? Are you healthy physically? What's your body capable of doing? Can you run a mile without stopping? If you can't, I think it's time for you to get in shape. If you can't do, women, if you can't do at least 10, 15 push-ups, man, if you can't do at least 20, you can't do at least 20, 30 sit-ups in a row without stopping, like, it's time to work out. And I'm just going to say it like this. This is the first day of the rest of my life. This has been an ongoing process my entire life. And like, I wondered to myself, you know, reading a story in the Bible about, you know, God's chosen people, and like Moses leading them through the Red Sea, and like the Israelites, and, you know, the Egyptians, they were slaves, and he led them from Pharaoh, and they had the promised land that was flowing with milk and honey. And they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. 40 years. Like, they had this beautiful country and landside waiting for them. But like, I think they sent, excuse me, spies, if you will, whatever, go look in the land. Like, oh my God, there's giants in the land. They got afraid. And they retreated. They turned back but God had promised this to them. This was a promised land, God's people. And they were afraid, and they turned back, and they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. And like, reading that story in the Bible my whole life, and hearing that story preached so many times, I wonder how and why they wander blindly for 40 years. And you know what? History, or his story, repeats itself. Here I am, 42 years old. You know, I can take a few years off because I didn't really have that mind of awareness and whatnot as a baby and a toddler and a little boy. But here I am, 42 years old, and here I am wandering in the wilderness, and God has promised me so many things. I have an amazing family I took for granted. Amazing opportunities that I took for granted. Fear, worry, doubt, laziness, procrastination, insecurities, whatever it is, it delayed my success of stepping into the land that God called for me. I believe I'm in my home that God created for me, and he planned it for me and my family. And there's so many blessings and that are transpiring right now. I know it. I feel it in my spirit. I feel it in my gut. I feel it in my heart. That's why today's message is so powerful for me, because it's going to be like a landmark and a timestamp of never turning back again, of moving forward, letting go with all that doesn't serve me positively anymore, letting go of anything that's ever held me back, breaking the chains of bondage, raising my arms victoriously, and claiming the promised land that God has for me. And in my journey and in my story, I plan to inspire you, educate you, empower you, uplift you to do the same. Life is too short. We take people and time for granted. I think they're always going to be here until they're not. We think we have all the time in the world until we don't. Today, this very moment, this present time, this present, well, I think it's called the present because it's a gift. This presence that's been gifted to us right now is all we have. Our lives are a gift from God. What we do with our lives are our gift back to God. What are you going to give God? The story of the parable of the talents, if you've never heard it, read it. All right, God gave his 3 servants his talents. There are talents of money in the Bible, but it represents talents and abilities, gifts that we have in our own lives. And someone, like the one with the 1 talent, hid it. He hid his talent because he was afraid. The other 2 used their talents and produced more money, success, prosperity, and they were rewarded. The one hid their talent. How many of y'all are hiding your talent and your purpose and delaying your success and you traveling into the promised land? Many are called, few are chosen. God's chosen you for something big and you're scared and you're hiding your talents. The one who hid their talent was cursed. It's time for you to uproot the weeds and the seeds of negativity and failure and rejection and doubt and anxiety and toxicity and trauma in your life. You're no longer a victim, you're a victor. You're called to be victorious. Unbury your talents, put them in your heart, look up, have faith, say a prayer, and move forward and make it happen. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. I believe in you. Let's do this together. Hoorah. I am unstoppable. I'm a child of God. This is God's plan. Nobody can stop me. I love you. Be blessed.